Is this Groundhog Day for you because there's no movement here? And when do you expect any movement on these contracts?
Well, Jerry really doesn't talk every day. He's spoken once in the 3 days since I've been here. He generally talks before and after every Cowboys game. It's one of the unique experiences that there is in the NFL, Dan, is that, during the regular season after every game, Jerry Jones goes in the locker room and either listens to, Jason Garrett address the team or he participates in that process. And then he comes out and literally the media has to walk right past one of the most flamboyant owners in the NFL, a guy who is fully in charge of his team and has very strong public opinions he's willing to share in order to go in the locker room and then talk to the players who just performed in the game, or to go down the hall and listen to the head coach who managed the game. So, yeah, when Jerry Jones talks, it would be a mistake not to be within earshot or having the opportunity to ask him questions. But I don't know that there's as much drama as people probably perceive there to be, just based on how much talk there is publicly in the media about these three players, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Amari Cooper. Travis Frederick, I thought, put it well yesterday, the center, when he said, you know what, there's a lot of public discussion about these three players and their contracts, but if you stick your head in any of our meeting rooms, you won't hear anything at all about anything except, playing the game of football and what our routine is going to be day to day.
Who blinks first in these contract talks? Either Zeke's side, Dak's side, even Amari Cooper's side?
Well, the way I've been told to expect the contracts to be executed, even though the Cowboys insist they haven't prioritized one over the other. And Stephen Jones said, we're capable of multitasking and we can do more than one contract at a time. He said, in fact, we have offers to all three, and if they all got hot, we could conceivably sign them all in one day, although I don't expect that to happen. But he said what happens is, we send an offer, they don't like it, so they huff and puff about it. Then they send us a counter, and we're upset about it, so we don't respond for, a couple of weeks, and that's kind of how the way it plays out. I think that despite what Jerry Jones has said about you don't need a rushing champion to win an NFL title, and you don't, and boy, Tony Pollard, this fourth-round pick that we got is really impressed and could carry the load. To say that after, 4 carries in the first preseason game and suggest that he could replace a two-time NFL rushing champion who led the NFL in carries since he came into the league is somewhat preposterous and obviously just posturing. I think Jerry recognizes he has to get a deal done with Ezekiel Elliott before week 1. But I don't think the time to stress about it is quite arrived yet. I think that'll probably happen after the final preseason game. I mean, if you just look at it, Dan, when I've been here and talking to Stephen Jones and talking to Jerry, you get the very strong sense that they feel this is the deepest and most talented roster that they've had since they won 3 Super Bowls in the 1990s. That they think when they make their cuts, it's going to be the hardest thing they've had to do in 30 years from a roster standpoint. And, Jerry Jones is 76 years old. And Jason Garrett, a coach, he has supported long beyond the time most would, a guy he really wants to win and staked his reputation on, has been forced into the final year of his contract. And he's doing this with a first-time play caller in Kellen Moore, who's the new offensive coordinator. Do they really want to start the season without the player they built the whole thing around? Yeah. I just can't see them taking that risk.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.